Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and maybe you recognize the guys in front of you and maybe you don't, and maybe it's my job to educate you better on what they are. So if you aren't aware, these are the Nyx Veteran Assault Power Armor Troopers that come to us from Crimson Steel Mechworks. So I know I did a video on these guys. They were a freebie file that was part of said Crimson Steel Mechworks Calamity's Ashes Kickstarter, which at the time of this filming is wrapping up. So if you're watching this like immediately after it's been posted, you might want to go check that out if you haven't already been converted to its cause of modular mechanical powered armor mecha guys. So these were just some sample files, but they are going to be fully compatible with everything else when I was reminded by my brother, who I am usually turning to when it comes to all things mecha related, because he seems to be a lot more keyed into it than I am as of late. And it didn't used to be that way, but maybe in my old age I've just been too distracted by fantasy stuff. That's the story I'm going to go with. Anyway, he's like, dude, we've got a bunch of files of his stuff already. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I've showed you them. And I didn't believe him, and then he gave me his USB drive that had a bunch of those files, and I guess I do have to believe him. So anyway, we're going to talk about the thing that was in the thumbnail, which is the NG77X. I believe there was an X call sign on that, and that is the rapid response mech that Crimson Steel Mechworks did as a collab with the maker's Cult. If you're interested in the model that is showing up in this video, also check that Kickstarter page, because it was an add-on there. And probably if you're watching this way into the far future, hopefully when it's not all grim darkness, there's probably going to be a link to where you can purchase those files as well if you are interested in that. So let's take a look at those parts. And I'm looking around for them, and I don't see them now. And that's because the torso is on the floor. I don't know how they got there. Okay, so here we go. Torso. Already just as big as our dudes in power armor. And when I say they're big dudes, I mean they're already even bigger than a Primaris Marine. So that should say something right there. You'll notice we've got a fully sculpted interior cockpit. So for those of you crazy folks out there that enjoy painting those, I'm not one of them. That is an option. There is an option also to have a pilot in there. But even better than having a pilot in there, why not have one out of there? Yes, there were pilot files included here, and I really like them. For some reason, I don't know why, they made me think of like Warframe guys with this, the weird, bulky, over-the-shoulders, gigantic gear there. And somewhere in my pile of bits in front of me, and there's a lot, I mean like a lot of parts here, and I didn't even print everything. We got a sitting pilot too. Where he's sitting, I don't know, because he's not actually going to fit in there. His skirt armor is just going to get in the way. I love his little thruster heat seat vent stuff on the back. It's actually quite similar to the rest of the torso of our rapid response mech. You'll notice there's all these little hard points all over it. Really fun stuff can go in there. And hopefully even more stuff can go in there in the future. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here we have the hips. I have dropped multiples of these and totally broken them. And they survived, actually, which you'll see in a sec. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning is these things are nice and easy to put together. I know a lot of these 3D modelers, for whatever reason, don't take into account enough the shrinking and flexing of the resin. But look at it. Perfect fit. No issues there. I love it. We need more of that. There were a multitude of feet positions, and each foot consists of 3 parts. You've got your upper leg, your lower leg, nice and reverse jointed there. It's bulky. And then a foot. Nice callback to the Nyx, and the other suits have similar feet designs. I like that. And when you put it all together, you end up with something like this. So yeah, it's a big model. Maybe not as big as an Imperial Titan. I was going to say Knight. I've got an Imperial Knight handy. But probably as bulky as one. Push comes to shove. My Knight is dusty. I need to clean it off. And now I know where to put it. Put it out of the way. Okay. So, we've got the basics there. What are we going to do with it now? Well, we've got various armor parts that we can then glue on. You've got your hip armor. You've got your knee joint armor. And if you don't get the arm options in the way, sometimes I can get the skirt armor to just kind of, yep, there we go, lodge in with no issues. This spot right here is kind of cool. It's kind of a support area. You could put a big old honking gun, and that is not the right one. That's actually an arm one. Okay, here we go. So if you wanted it to go all Metal Gear, that is a possibility. Excuse my hairy arms there. What am I looking for? I'm looking for something. Ah, the arms. So you have an arm option. Like so. I don't know if that's even the right side. Maybe this way. It doesn't matter. Why not both? And then hidden behind the gun here, you have another optional port for sticking stuff. Cannons, that is obviously reversed. I was thinking the cannons actually can kind of fit right there too, so if you're wanting a lighter mech, that might be an idea. Let's move some of this mess out of the way here. There we go. There's actually a smaller manipulator arm, whether that's the mirrored version or not, I'm not even sure, not that it matters. I guess I'm just going to have to mirror one of the torsos as well. You have these sections on the body as well that can take various bits. There's cannon points, parts, points, I don't know what I'm talking about. Or there is another sensor array you can put right there as well. You get the idea. It's like a little light thing. You have two more hard points up here that can take various attachments. There's some fun non-combatant pieces, like a winch. Not that I can keep it on there. I forget which side is which. There we go. So if you wanted to have a more search and rescue based one, that is a possibility. There are also weapon platform ones, which fit on like this, have a circular spot. I don't think that previous gun I showed you can fit there, but I haven't tried. Never say never. I guess you can just glue it on like that. But there's actually a full-on turret that you'll notice has a option for attaching two weapons, because why not, right? There's double cannons you can put up there. There's missiles. There's single cannons. I want to say there might have been a comms array as well. There's a baggage luggage rack. I don't know if there's any stowage as of yet. You can always get some. And then you've got all these crazy arrays on the back. Now this is really fun because there's a ton of stuff that you can actually put into those ball jointed areas on the back. Leave them as thrusters. There's actually little thruster caps if you don't just want to paint them black. You could fit in there. There's fuel tanks. And there's various fuel tank caps. I'm not sure why that wasn't just one part. I'll have to ask. But that gets a very Armored Core feeling. And you have a bunch of those sticking off the back. We have various radiators and heat sinks you can put on there. pretend they're wings or something. I don't know. There's opened versions as well. We have these. Where are they? Kind of thruster pod things, which actually can double as heat sinks or, more fun, missile launchers, because why not, right? If you want to have a bunch of missile racks all over the back of it ready to spew out an Atano circus, more power to you. And we haven't even talked about the other main weapons. The arms on this thing are absolutely massive. So this is the main gun for it. And you can actually have a dual mounted cannon. So if you wanted to have the big laser blaster type, or if you're a traditionalist, this isn't glued together right now, but there is a Gatling cannon rotating. I want to say it goes like this. So if that's something that interests you, or you can just put the big manipulator hands as well, or a combination thereof. Or like I said, I believe there is a version of the arm that has both guns mounted on. And there's still, I've still got a ton of pieces, and I don't even remember what half of this is. There's just all kinds of stuff, and I didn't even print everything. There's just that much. And that's before you even start talking about the actual stuff that was in the Kickstarter. So if you haven't had a chance, check that stuff out. And maybe that's just me tooting my own horn, but you know what? It's my channel, and I'm allowed to if I want to. If there's something I like, I am absolutely going to point people in the direction of it. And I gotta say, the fact that this stuff, almost all the parts are hollowed out. We got a little radar array that looks like it's on upside down, but that's okay. There's tons of options, and this is just like, you know, a one-off kit. Who knows, maybe we'll see some extra stuff for it in the future. I mean, it looks even neat without the arms on there, I think. The fact that if you wanted to get really crafty, slap some of the little guns on there, have it as like a 15mm type mecha at that point. Oh, and there's also the canopy that I forgot to mention. It's just a fun, nice, solid kit. And if you're looking for that kind of stuff, like I said, do take a look at Crimson Steel Mechworks stuff as I try to clean up my mess here. There's a lot of fun to be had. If you have a hankering for that gritty, dirty, bulbous Maschinen Krieger SF3D early 80s powered armor mecha stuff that comes from Japan, I definitely think you're going to have a lot of fun with the stuff that Crimson Steel Mechworks making. So that's all I'm saying for the moment. Do take a look. Hopefully you guys are going to have as much fun as we do, and hopefully we're going to get some of this stuff painted. I've got more than enough pieces here to build another, so I'll try putting one together. We'll toss one on a Sparkle Trout, see what he comes up with, and hopefully everybody will be happy with the results. So, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!